When you see the oceans of waving prairie grasses and the sage and the cacti, you might wonder what could possibly be beneath such a desolate land. Well, when the powers of wind and water erosion team up and reveal all, you get a place like this, a UNESCO World Heritage Site called Dinosaur Provincial Park. When you first arrive at Dinosaur Provincial Park and walk out to the edge of the valley, it is expansive. Miles and miles and miles and miles in every direction. There are two types of campsites within the campground, and there are also comfort camping stations, which are essentially a canvas tent yurt, which you can book online. You can choose online which site is better for you. You can find a campsite under the trees or choose a campsite right up tight, close to the hoodoos, where your only background is perhaps some fossils. And you too can sleep where the dinosaurs sleep. Another key advantage of being able to select your own campsite is that I could choose one that had electricity. And as a solo female traveler, I prefer, if it's available, to choose a site that has electricity, because it's typically in an area where there are more families, larger RVs, more people that would be interested if there was something going wrong for a solo female traveler. I don't want to be in a part of the park where I am by myself and people know I'm by myself and there's nobody really around me that I could call on in an emergency, or that I could call on to help defend me if I got into an awkward situation. What I've learned over the years is that the people who use the electrified sites are my people. They are often very settled. They are very busy with their own families. They're not really concerned with what I'm doing, but they are also the kind of people that I could call on if I needed help. We had quite the light show last night, thunder and lightning and lots of wind and rain. And it was the first time that I slept in those conditions in the Napier Sports Cove, the tent that attaches to my SUV. And I want to tell you that it passed the test. I was dry this morning and snug as a bug in a rug. Of course, I chose a site right up against the hoodoo, and it made for some really interesting entertainment last night as the thunderstorm rolled in, and I watched it all as it lit up the hoodoo and silhouetted the hoodoo, and I watched it all from the screen tent of my Sports Cove. Loved it. It was fabulous. It was the best kind of TV moment without TV. After the thunderstorm and light show last night, things are still a little gloomy, but I'm not going to let that stop me from showing you around. Another benefit to being right up close to the hoodoos is you get to see the way the shadows change during the day, from the bright lights of the noonday sun to the evening when the shadows get deeper because the angle of the sun is lower in the sky. In fact, it would be my advice to photograph areas with erosion like the hoodoos either in the morning golden hour or in the evening golden hour, when you can take advantage of the sun being low in the sky to expose those shadows for you and make far more interesting photos. When I arrived at the park, I made a conscious decision not to photograph where the sun was directly shining on it because it washed out the hoodoos too much and it made them seem flat. Instead, I turned to the left side and the right sides of the valley where I could see more pronounced shadows and really show the topography that was there. See how with the shadow you can see the detail? Yeah. If you go that way, you can't see the detail.
Yeah. I see.
Do you want this way?
Sure.
Oh, yeah. And then that's the campground down there. Are you staying at the campground?
Yep.
Yeah. Okay. Then you can see the road to the campground down there. Okay. Yeah. So this will tell a story. Are you ready?
Yep.
Okay. There you go. Okay. Groovy. Oh yeah. Look at, and you can see the lake. Okay. Okay. Wait a minute. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. It's the beginning of August and most of Alberta is under a fire ban. The conditions are ripe for forest fires and no campfires are allowed. But here in Dinosaur Provincial Park, there is no fire ban because the conditions are different here. And so I was able to buy firewood and ice last night at the ranger station, and the dogs and I enjoyed a campfire. It was a relief. It's been a long time since we've had a campfire because of the fire bans. There are plenty of trails to take in this park, and all of them are well signed. There's easy to moderate to difficult, and they warn you about steep sections with black diamond trails, but maybe that's what you're into. And there are also plenty of learning opportunities where you can book online for classes. One of the classes that was offered last night was called Capture the Badlands, and they took you out with your camera in a group and showed you how to take pictures of the hoodoos so that you could show them off to their best potential, including lighting and how to choose your subject. And there's also guided bus tours that will take you around to the fossil stations and provide you with a guide. And speaking of guides, there are also guided hikes for groups. Check it out all online and reserve your spot. Welcome to the Cottonwood Flats Trail. This trail is ranked as easy, and it's also easy to tell where all the trails are. All are self-guided adventures. They give this to you right at the desk when you come in and you register for your campsite. Super easy to find your way around Dinosaur Provincial Park. We are on the Scenic Fossil Tour. It is 3.5 kilometers or almost 2 miles of gravel road that takes you through the fossil beds and to 2 research stations where they have exhibits of real fossils exactly where they're found. This is fossil station number 2, and they have been finding Centrosaurus bones here since 1991. They believe that the reason there are so many Centrosaurus bones here is that there was a large flood and a river that was flowing very quickly, and a large herd of Centrosaurus tried to cross the river, were overwhelmed and drowned, and so all of their bodies are found in the same area. What a wonderful find. I'll take you to the area where they have the display in Fossil Research Station number 2, and it actually shows what a dig looks like and the 1 meter square that they use, because they have actually exhumed bones here 1 meter or about a yard at a time since they began exploring here. Just over my shoulder is Fossil Research Station number 1, where an almost complete skeleton of a hadrosaur has been found. The only real part that's missing is the head, and they think that that's because heads were very big and heavy, and as the bodies decompose, the muscles were compromised and the heads floated away from the bodies, and so are always found separately. The muscles and ligaments in the neck are not strong enough to keep the head attached once the body begins to decompose. And then over the course of time, due to erosion or water, the head can become separated from the body. And in this case, this is the headless hadrosaur. The head has never been found. John Ware was born a slave, but at the end of the Civil War, at the age of 19, he headed to Texas. And the story of how he got to Canada is a unique one. He drove cattle 3,000 miles to the Alberta area. And when he got here, he stayed. He was a big, strong man, and he was very good with the lariat. And one of the things that he did was contribute to steer wrestling at the Stampede. He is famous as one of the first black cowboys in the area, much respected and much loved, and this was his cabin.
It might not seem like the stuff of legends, but inside these log walls lived one of Alberta's most remarkable early pioneers and legendary characters.
Something else that you might not know about this park is that it is continually evolving, and they are making improvements every year. And a big improvement is planned for a couple years from now, where they're going to redo some of the displays to make them more user-friendly. And part of that is that they have volunteers at the gate asking people what they know about dinosaurs, Aboriginal people, and the landforms that are present here. And Cam and Jade did the interview with me and gifted me this lovely water bottle. And when you're hiking on these trails, water comes in handy. And this is the Cretaceous Cafe, the original fast food. For sure it was the original fast food, running as fast as it could from those big meat-eating dinosaurs. But for you and me, let's check out the Cretaceous Cafe for real, because I hear that they have ice cream and a complete menu of breakfast, lunch, and dinner items. I think you're gonna love it. for joining me at Dinosaur Provincial Park. And I hope that you liked this video, and if you really liked it, I hope you consider subscribing. The adventures continue, and I have a couple of suggestions. Just click the link and I'll see you there.